Here's what's coming up on Network Africa. Foreign nationals, Egyptians trapped in Gaza as they await evacuation through the Rafah border crossing. Zambian ex-president Edgar Lungu stripped of retirement benefits. And British monarch King Charles samples local cuisine and art during state visits to Kenya. Hello, welcome to the program today. I'm Joke Rogers in Lagos. We begin with the war in the Middle East, which shows no sign of abating, forcing foreigners trapped in Gaza to begin evacuations to Egypt through the Rafah border crossing. Among countries racing to evacuate its citizens is China, which says it's in close touch with Chinese nationals in Gaza to provide as much help as possible, adding that their safety is highly important. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it's currently coordinating with various parties to assist with the evacuation process as soon as possible. Meanwhile, various foreign nationals are also waiting for the second day of evacuation from Gaza to Egypt through the Rafah border. Among them is Susan Siso, a Palestinian American who has been in Gaza since early this year but has had difficulties leaving. While this is her fifth attempt to leave Gaza, she says she's not excited to evacuate because she has no clue of the state of her families and loved ones she left behind.
I came down to Gaza about 6-7 months ago. I came down to spend Ramadan with my family, but since Gaza is under siege for the past 16 years and maybe more, it was really hard for me to get a permit and leave either through the Egyptian side or the Israeli side. I was supposed to leave on Sunday, and it was the second day of war, and I couldn't just leave my family behind and say, bye-bye, I'll see you on the other side. So I stayed in Gaza, and the war just got escalated so fast. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are under the rubbles of buildings. So we finally got the chance to almost leave Gaza. This is my fifth attempt to leave. We evacuated our house about 19 days ago. Unfortunately, I'm not even excited to leave Gaza because we have so many people that we live and care about. We love and care about. So right now I'm between ice and fire. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to see the family that I left behind or the friends that I left behind. People are dying. Everybody's dying. Nobody's safe. We don't have bomb shelters.
Truly pathetic situation. Now, in the meantime, 20 Australian nationals, including children, have been safely evacuated from the Israeli besieged Gaza Strip to Egypt. Speaking at a news briefing, Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong said that she was grateful Australians were among the first group of foreign citizens who entered Egypt via the Rafah border crossing. On Wednesday, at least 320 foreign nationals left the Palestinian enclave to cross into Egypt.
I can confirm that overnight Australian time, 20 Australians plus 2 family members and a permanent resident were able to cross the border at Rafah out of Gaza into Egypt. As you know, we've been part of an international push to allow safe passage for foreign civilians out of Gaza, and particularly, obviously, advocating for Australians. I'm so relieved and grateful this first cohort was able to cross. They're being supported by our consular staff in Egypt. They've been transported to Cairo and travel arrangements are being made for them to get home free of charge. Just a short while ago, I spoke to Australia's ambassador to Egypt, Dr. Axel Warbenhorst. It was about 4 a.m. in Cairo, and I can tell you I was speaking to him and I could hear children in the background. And I said to him, are they our kids? And he said yes. Some of the Australian children who were made it to Cairo today. I again reiterate Australia's call for humanitarian pauses on hostilities. We want humanitarian supplies of food, water, medicine, fuel to reach people in desperate need. The people of Gaza cannot wait. The international community will not accept ongoing civilian deaths. So when Israel's friends urge Israel to exercise restraint, when Israel's friends urge Israel to protect civilian lives, it is critical that Israel listens.
In the meantime, Egyptian citizen Ghada Zaki Ahmed, who's waiting to cross into Egypt, says, in her words, we've seen death with our own eyes and her only priority is to get back home to meet the rest of her children. Ghada, who came to Gaza for a one-week visit, noted that foreign nationals were being allowed to cross into Egypt. She said, quote, what logic is this to allow foreign nationals to pass through the Egyptian border crossing and not allow Egyptians, which international law says that? The reopening of the Rafah border crossing aims to facilitate the departure of more foreigners seeking to leave Gaza. We'll get more from the Middle East war later on this program, as we expect VOA correspondent Edward Uranian to join us later on. But let's just move on to some other stories. The Nigeria Customs Sokoto Zamfara Area Command says its personnel will not tolerate the activities of smugglers attempting to compromise the directive of the heads of ECOWAS on border closure of West African countries with Niger Republic. Area Controller of the Command, Musa Omale, stated this while addressing journalists after intercepting a truckload of banana and other food items from Ghana attempting to access Niger Republic through Nigeria's land border. On the 30th of July 2023, the Nigeria government ordered the closure of all its land borders with Niger Republic in compliance with the directives of ECOWAS as one of the sanctions imposed on Niger Republic following the military interference in the democratic process of the West African country.
Based on a higher layer of our enforcement operations and intelligence, we were able to receive information that some truck will be coming from Ghana, loaded with banana, going to Niger, because there's real scarcity in Niger, so they could go to any level to want to come in with this food stuff. And we have to lay weight. This consignment has passed through many ungoverned spaces, but the officers of the command are still trying their best. We waited for more than 4 days. They did not show off. But when they thought the officers had left the place, that was when they came out of the bushes. And we were there to intercept this banana. This banana, about 1,800 cartons that they want to take to Niger, Niamey specifically. But we were able to prevent them from taking it. The duty pay value of this banana, if it was coming in, would have been about 17 million. Ordinarily, banana is not contraband to speak. Ordinarily, it would have come in, even under the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme. It's allowed. But the problem we have now is that because of the military junta takeover in Niger, the ECOWAS said nothing should come in, and we have to implement it.
To other politics now, former Zambian President Edgar Lungu has been stripped of his retirement benefits and privileges. The withdrawal comes following Mr. Lungu's decision to return to active politics, which sets the stage for the 2026 presidential race. In 2021, Mr. Lungu lost to President Hakainde Hichilema, after which he announced his retirement. As a retired president, Mr. Lungu was entitled to 3 security officers, a diplomatic passport, 3 state cars, a furnished house, medical insurance, and funeral expenses upon his death. The Zambian government spokesperson, Cornelius Mwetwa, says the former president has already been notified about the withdrawal. Elsewhere now, Britain's King Charles has praised Kenyan young entrepreneurs for their remarkable spirit and commitments to resolving climate issues. He was hosted to a warm reception at the British High Commissioner's residence in Nairobi, where he met youth and environmental activists.
Thank you, sir. It's been such a joy to have this opportunity to meet really quite a lot of Kenyans during this visit and to discover just how things have developed and changed since I was here quite a long time ago, I hate to say. But it has been fascinating to meet all these people, the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs who are doing such remarkable things here, coming up with brilliant ideas, particularly in terms of how to cope with climate change and biodiversity loss, thinking up clever solutions, nature-based and so on. Also how to develop their digital operations.
Meanwhile, it appears King Charles is enjoying his visit to Kenya as he met with creatives and explored local art exhibits. He also satisfied his taste bud as he tried local street food and watched a live band play. Early on Wednesday morning, King Charles and Queen Camilla visited a cemetery for veterans of World War II. They awarded 4 veterans who fought alongside the British medals to replace ones they had disposed of during the Mau Mau uprising.
Yes, we did. There were speeches. We were quite surprised by President Ruto's speech. Just from what you can get from, talking to 7 or 8 people on the street, And actually, when you drive...
Welcome back. Let's get back to our top story on the Israel-Hamas conflict and the fact that, of course, evacuations are ongoing through the Rafah border, but not everybody is being allowed through. Foreign nationals are going through, but the Egyptians are complaining that they are being stopped. We're being joined on the program right now by the VOA's Edward Uranian, who's in Cairo, to talk to us more about this. Hello, Edward. Good to see you today.
My pleasure, Joka. Thank you for having me.
Right, so give us a clearer picture of the situation in Egypt as we speak. Have you heard of any Egyptian yet who has safely crossed home?
Well, we've been hearing mostly of Palestinians crossing and a few foreigners like the American woman you spoke with or you had on video. I have not actually seen any Egyptians, although I did see one Palestinian man who was living in Egypt that appeared to have been able to get back. The problem is a lot of the information is not either confusing, like the situation itself, or a bit of misinformation going out, perhaps because the parties on both sides of the border are not putting out correct information. And Hamas doesn't put out correct information. So I would be skeptical of a lot of things they say. But here on the Egyptian side, we have been seeing mostly a priority for the Palestinians that were injured. And there again, it seems like they're mostly young men of a certain age, between 20 and 25, that are being evacuated. I'm not sure why that is, other than perhaps Hamas is not letting anyone else out. But yeah, it's a difficult story to cover. The information is not always correct, and some of it's very sketchy.
Right, and Gaza officials have announced that approximately 7,500 foreign passport holders will be evacuated over the course of about 2 weeks or so. How is Egypt coping with this influx?
Well, I mean, there aren't a lot of them have actually gotten out. Yesterday, the foreign nationals that left yesterday, many of them appeared to have gone to Arish because there are hotels there and there's a place to rest. I assume that some of them are picking up their own tabs, and some of the foreign governments are picking up the tabs for their nationals, because I don't believe Egypt is. And the hospital stays, I believe Egypt is paying for the hospital stays, and there are 2 hospitals that are being used. So it would seem that the Egyptian Red Crescent is taking responsibility for those patients.
And are there provisions, as you said, and accommodations to house the foreign nationals before they fly out to their home countries? You said that, some governments are taking care of, some people, others are picking up their own tabs. But have you heard of any deliberate, accommodation by the foreign governments? What has been provided in anticipation of people coming in, especially where you have women and children that may need, a lot of rest and recuperation that you just spoke about?
I think some of the private accommodations were hoping to house people if someone else paid the tab, but I don't think anyone so far has volunteered to pay the tab. And as far as the foreign governments go, it would seem some of the foreign governments, like the Australians, are paying for the tab, and I'm not sure the Canadians don't seem to be doing that. I can't say that for sure, but and I don't believe the U.S. is paying for U.S. nationals to be housed. Egypt is reluctant, from all we've heard from the Egyptian government and President Sisi, to allow Palestinians or even dual nationals on its soil for a long period of time, because it's afraid that will constitute some sort of a step towards allowing them to stay permanently. So there are a few tricky issues here that are perhaps causing a problem. But in terms of Cairo, I think there is some expectation of having places in Cairo that need a right. I don't think they've actually done anything that need at this point.
Right. Thanks, Edward, for that update. VOA's Edward Uranian speaking to us from Cairo in Egypt.
My pleasure, Joka.
Let's talk some sports now. South Africa's Springboks has met South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in Pretoria at the start of their trophy tour. The Springboks claimed a record 4th Rugby World Cup on Saturday with a 12-11 win over old foes New Zealand. South Africa edged 3 successive knockout stage matches by a single point to claim the Webb Ellis Cup, beating France and England on their way to the final.
We hope you enjoyed this, and we hope these celebrations and this trophy doesn't end this week, that this unity that we see continue is going forward. So thank you.
Never in the history of world rugby has any team in the whole world, in the history of world rugby, won the cup 4 times until now. In doing so, you have lifted the spirits of the entire nation and you filled us with pride.
In Nigeria, the Kano state government has played host to the flag-off of the European Union Study in Europe Fair in the country. The study fair is to give Nigerian students education opportunities to study in Europe through cooperation and become agents of growth to their country. Kano state government also applauded the Study in Europe Fair flag-off as they expressed the readiness of the states to partner with the EU in addressing most of its educational challenges.
It's the flag-off of the Study in Europe Fair by the European Union held in Kano State. The European Union has awarded scholarships to 800 Nigerians in 9 years and is hoping that the flag-off will strengthen the collaboration between Europe and Nigerians to take opportunity of the study fair. Speaking at the flag-off, EU Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS noted that the collaboration will help students connect with better education opportunities.
This event is about connecting people through education opportunities for young Nigerians to study in Europe, but also through cooperation opportunities between universities and higher education institutions of Europe and Nigeria. 23 European partners, 18 among which 18 European higher education institutions and 5 national education services are with us today in Kano to present their offer to Nigerian students and to engage with education institutions in Kano and northern Nigeria.
She further stressed that it was not for them to relocate out of the country, otherwise known as Japa, but to be beneficial to the development of their country.
This initiative today is not an encouragement to Japa, but an opportunity to develop and use the skills you will develop in Europe to the benefit of your society and the benefit of your country.
Kano State Governor Representative, the Deputy Governor, expressed readiness to partner with the EU in addressing the challenges of education in the state, as Kano has over 1 million out-of-school children.
Kano has over 1 million out-of-school children, which are of both gender, male and female. We are doing everything humanly possible to get the children off the streets and back to school. Kano State government will, however, welcome the European Union special interest and intervention in Kano State in this regard.
The Erasmus program has been offering students scholarships since 2014, as the European Union emphasized on its commitment to support Nigeria in terms of human capital development.
And the Saudi embassy has airlifted Hassana and Husseina Isa, conjoined twins from Kano in Nigeria, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for surgical separation. The Consulate General, in company of the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf, were at the airport to see them off. Our correspondent Sadiqul Yasu has more in this report.
This would be the first time effort has been made regarding the separation of 24-month-old Hassana and Husseina twins conjoined in the chest from birth. Thanks to the Saudi government, the delicate but necessary surgery will be done in Riyadh, where the government will take care of their transportation, medical bills, accommodation, and well-being until their return. Carried by their mother, the twins arrive at the Amini Kano International Airport to board a private jet to Riyadh.
This is not the first time we are doing this kind of operation for Nigerian babies. Just recently, we carried out free heart surgeries here in Kano. We are hoping this surgery will also be successful like the previous one. And as you can see, we intend to take care of all their needs until they return back to Nigeria.
Speaking to journalists at the airport terminal, the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf commends the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for its unwavering support to Nigerians.
We appreciated this gesture and we felt on top of the world seeing the king in his usual humanitarian gesture, his sympathy for the people, not only Nigeria but the entire humanity. Kano State Government will never forget this philanthropist assistant, and on behalf of the people of Kano State as well as the government and the parents, we wish to extend an appreciation to him as well as to the entire good people of Saudi Arabia.
Hassana and Husseina Isa already share vital organs. Their parents and the Kano State government have high hopes they will return as two separate beings and hale and hearty. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
And before we go, we're happy to announce that we have resolved the technical difficulties that we experienced for the most parts of today, and are now happy to be back on air on our DSTV channel. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for trusting Channels Television to bring you the news and programming to your homes. Well, that's it on Network Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joker Rogers. Bye for now.